Hello, I'm Richard Murphy, and I've said in this video series that the last thing that we need to do now is increase tax in the UK overall. And the reason why I've said that is that is going to be really bad for those who are unemployed, because increasing tax guarantees that they will be unemployed for longer because there'll be less money spent. But does that mean that there is nothing that we need to do with the tax system at this time? My answer is definitely no. We do very definitely need to change some taxes in the UK because some are clearly unfair. And at this time, when a lot of us are going to be, well, facing hardship, let's be blunt, fairness is really important. So we do need to increase taxes on some aspects of income. I've already discussed this in another video, and I've talked about wealth taxes and what taxes we need to increase on those who have income from wealth. We need to increase capital gains tax. We need to increase the tax rate on income from savings, rents, and other types of investment income. We need to increase the corporation tax rate in this country as well. Corporation tax is the tax that companies pay on their profits. Now, I'm not arguing that small companies should pay more, because traditionally we had a small company's tax rate and we had a large company's tax rate. The large company tax rate is now the same as the small company tax rate. That's not fair. Large companies clearly have a competitive advantage over small companies, and those large companies have absolutely coined it by having the tax on their profits reduced. So we need to increase that tax rate again to create fairness and balance in the economy and make sure that those large companies make their contribution. What else do we need to do? Well, we might need to look at some taxes on carbon-based products so that we begin the change to a sustainable economy. We don't tax things like some types of carbon emission enough now. But are there any compensations for these tax increases I'm talking about? Yes, because overall, I don't want tax increases. So what do we have to do? Well, first of all, we have to reduce the tax rate on those things that those on lower income spend most on. So we might reduce the VAT rate across the board, because people on low incomes pay more of their income on VAT than those on high incomes. But we might do something else, which is even more radical. We might think about joining up tax reform with benefit reform. Because there are going to be a lot of people unemployed, universal credit is going to be something that many people will become familiar with. And universal credit is particularly mean to those who are moving out of benefit and into work. It can tax income at 60% or more when that's going on. We need to reform what's called the universal credit taper to make sure it's fairer to move back into work. And we frankly need to increase that rate. The whole of the tax system needs to be thought about again, in other words. We need to make sure that those who can pay will pay, to make sure that those who can't pay don't pay as much as they are at present, to guarantee that we have the best chance of making a fair society as we come out of coronavirus. There's a lot to think about, a lot to do. This is not an issue that's going to go away. I'm Richard Murphy, thanks for watching. If you're interested, please click the subscribe button, which is just below this video. Look at the other videos in this series. Follow me on Twitter, @RichardJMurphy. Look at my blog, Tax Research UK, and see you next time. Thanks a lot.